Hello and welcome. This is Kevin, also known as AWOL, and we are back with the bracelet where I tried a variant of the Arrowhead design that I've never actually done before. This time, it comes into the diamond, and then just after the diamond, it makes like two knots and two knots. I don't know, a little tiny diamond, a little square in front of where the first two meet. And I have to admit, it kind of threw me off a little bit. It's a little bit different than some of the other patterns I've done in the past, mostly because of the way that you have to bring both sides together in order to have the next strings come in and veer off at the end of it, which is a bit different than any of the other previous ones. Normally, you get to work on one side and then you work on the other, but here you have to use a little bit of using both sides at first in order to get it kind of going, especially on the latter half of it. Didn't quite notice like how big of a change it was in this first half because the way that everything is pointing upwards, but definitely on the downwards part, that was definitely became very, very relevant. You'll be happy to know that all the strings get used relatively equally, which is pretty cool. Means that you don't have to cut them as long. Of course, I do it just because it just kind of makes sense to me to not have to worry about running out. But if you're very conscious about your string, and particularly if you get it in like large balls of string, I'm just getting like the regular skeins of embroidery floss, so having a little left over at the end is not helpful. So cutting it into either thirds or quarters makes sense. So this one would probably be okay to cut into quarters, but cut thirds because that pretty much goes like it works with almost anything I can come up with. So that's just kind of how I do it. I like to share that idea with you guys in case, you know, it might help you to use the strings, you know, a little bit more economically. So the one thing I don't like about this pattern that the normal Arrowhead, you know, basically has is the one dot on the side where it just does a single one and the lines come around it and zigzag directly after it. I like the one that I have used for years and years and done in so many different ways. So it's just a kind of a little nitpicky thing. If you got used to this pattern first, you would probably say this is the better one. It's just a finicky kind of idea. Maybe you like it, maybe you don't, but I did kind of watch the pattern kind of closely, and you know, being concerned of making mistakes, but not so closely that it really slowed me down. I was still able to make the whole bracelet in about 2 hours. Obviously, if you haven't figured out, I speed this up dramatically because 2 hours for a video of me trying to explain what I did would be, wow, you guys would hate it. You guys barely watch the videos as it is now. Like, honestly, I look at the analytics and it's like people only watch for a few minutes. So yeah, if I did a 2-hour talk about a bracelet, it would be kind of crazy. So I kind of leave that to the live stream. So if you want to actually see the bracelets being made in real time, join the live stream, hang out with me. To do that, you have to be a member, right? But that's not too difficult. It's $4 a month, and it goes to support the channel. So let's just put out there all the people who are helping to make the channel happen. And yeah, thank you guys very, very much for that. Yeah, and like I said, $4, you get to add your name to the list, and that would be kind of awesome. Looking forward to having so many names on the list that it goes much faster, because we don't want it to take longer to do it. We would just speed it up a bit, I guess. What else could I tell you? Oh, again, making the big diamond in the center makes this really easy to flip it to the other direction. I showed a while back a bracelet where I just kind of went at it from the top and let the middle be whatever the middle was going to be, and that led to me being a little stressed when it came to the middle and worrying that I was going to get it wrong and worrying that I was going to have to draw it out and make dots over what's already accomplished or whatever. It turned out I got through it, but that nerve-wracking bit about trying to sort out a crazy middle simply just goes away with these nice big diamonds. So I think I'm going to be using that some more. I have some thoughts about the next pattern I want to make, kind of based off of this. I think I have an idea for something else that's pretty cool. In fact, I have like 2 ideas and I'm really torn between which one to do. So instead of maybe going to the 12-string patterns really soon, I might actually do another set of 3, just so that way I can do the ideas that I've had and show you guys some cool stuff, because I think it could be really neat. So yeah, but that would delay having Kumi videos. So if you're really into the Kumi videos, I apologize. There was no sense of doing another one for this because the Kumi is just like the bracelet just before this one. So, and then same with the next one. I've already got the strings got cut up all at once, and Mandy did 3 Kumis, and since they were all the same, there was no sense in making 3 identical videos about making it. It wouldn't make sense, right? So yeah. But yeah, great big diamond in the middle. Again, it kind of does that. I seem to recall bracelets and different things where they call it the eye or something, and right, like the one where the 2 sticks cross each other and they go around with the yarn. Isn't that called something eye? But yeah, kind of has that kind of look to it, with the brighter colors being in the middle of it and the darker colors kind of crowding in. And then as those colors kind of move outwards and allow room for the light ones to come in, it makes for a really cool look. Like, I really do like how this turned out. Yeah, so there you go. That red had to join before I could bring the chartreuse down to the end of it. You have to have it from both sides in order to do out like one area, which is really different, right? I mean, that's it. It's so like the regular Arrowhead, and I know I keep calling it the regular Arrowhead. I don't know that that's necessarily true either. I don't know that most people necessarily do the Arrowhead that I'm accustomed to. But for me, it feels like that there is a version where each time it comes in, it leaves a little diamond, a little dot in the center of the squares. To me, that's the normal version. And honestly, I don't know if the rest of the knotting community feels the same way about that Arrowhead as I do. I've used that Arrowhead in so many multitudes of ways, bags and everything, because it just flows really nice and easy. This one wouldn't be too terrible overall. I could make it bigger, like doubling it and whatever. But there are elements that are a little bit, it would take some doing. It would take a little bit more to be able to get the segments going to do the thing right. So don't expect to find a bag of this nature anytime too soon. But it is pretty. It is a good looking bracelet, and like I said, it's leading me on a path of adventure to trying new things, and I think we can have some fun with that. Trying to see where we are, what we have left in time. There's only 1, 2, 3, like 3 more diamond-ish. Like the 4th one sort of ends funny. Yeah, so if you have questions about this bracelet or other ones, or in general making stuff, you can leave questions in YouTube. If you need to attach a picture to it, then I would probably recommend Discord. I try my best to answer everybody's questions. I really don't do alpha patterns, so like I really can't help you on that one if that's your thing. I don't do them because it feels like cheating. It feels like if you can put a color anywhere you want, anytime you want, without having to map out some pathway to get to it, that to me really feels like cheating. It feels like you're, what are you even doing? But kudos to those that do really cool ones. I have a friend who did the Friends logo, like the TV show, and did it perfectly, and even the back of it, like no flaws or anything, no strings jumping over or anything. To me, like that's amazing. Like if I was gonna learn the craft, that's the kind of style I would want to do, but just not enticed enough, I guess. We are almost to the end. That's the green one coming in. I really like how the green, yellow, and orange are all really kind of close to each other, so it makes like this really interesting flow. I don't know I've necessarily seen that too often, but I really like this combination a lot. Yep, now this is where like the red comes in a little bit. We're almost to the very end. So, thank you guys for hanging out with me. If you haven't already, hit the like button, and as always, don't get your strings in a bunch.